doubt. Welcome to Plant Path Podcast today. My name is Oluwatosin Mogbadun Ade. It's so good to be on the show. Thank God it's another day. Okay, so we are 1 year now on the podcast, and we are so grateful to God. Super grateful to God for keeping us till now. Super grateful for you for listening on and on. Some people listen to an episode over and over again, and thank you for sharing within your network. We are so grateful. We are so grateful. Okay, I was looking at our stats just before this recording this, and I was just like, are you serious? God has really been kind to us. So looking at countries that people listen to our podcast, and we just want to do a shout out to everybody from that country listening, those countries listening to us, from Nigeria, from United States of America, Germany, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Brazil, Ghana, South Africa, Netherlands, UAE, United Arab Emirates, from Maldives, from the Philippines, from Morocco, from Luxembourg, from Poland, Malaysia, Portugal, Singapore, Ukraine, Bhutan, Ireland, Mexico, Estonia, Slovakia, really, Spain, Switzerland, Zambia, Sri Lanka, Oman, Vietnam, Kenya, and from Belgium. Shout out to all of you. We're so grateful. Good to have you with us. Thank you, thank you. God bless you. Keep listening, keep enjoying it. Like we said at the beginning of this year, and we always say it all over again, we are learning together, we are growing together, we are reading together. Okay, so let's keep doing this. All right, so today we are talking about a very, very important topic. I mean, this episode is specially dedicated to everybody that has been in their house since Friday and they've not gone out. Okay, let me just give a little bit background story. This is Monday, and then we've had public holiday since. Okay, so since Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So the next time we're going to go to work is on Wednesday. And there are some people that I know, I'm not going to mention names, you know yourself, that you've been at home since that Friday and you've not been out. And the next time you're even going to leave your house, maybe just to get food, or maybe till you come out on Wednesday. Don't worry, we see you, we love you so much. There's nothing wrong with you, majorly. Mostly, there's nothing wrong with you. Today, we are reviewing the book Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. This book is a classic. I mean, this is, if you know me personally and you've not heard me talk about this book, I don't know what to say, man. This book is like my Bible, or used to be my Bible, or is my Bible actually. I wouldn't say it's my Bible. I would say it's my manual for life. It's like my Wikipedia to help me understand the different kind of students, the different type of adults I've had to teach, train, support in their learning spaces. This book is a classic, really. I think everybody should read this book, from parents to business people and all of that. And since you've not got time to read, this is a good place for you to actually learn about the book. The book, first of all, the book talks about introversion. Dr. Susan Cain, you really need to go look at her. She is, I doff my cap. You understand me? She's bougie. She's an amazing woman I respect so much in the field. Introversion, there's a way people talk about introversion that it seems like it's a bad thing in itself. It's bad to be an introvert. It's just bad for you to, in fact, when the word introvert is mentioned, it's like, there's something wrong with this person. And really, it is not so. It ought not to be so. It really doesn't have to be so, really, because the subject of introversion is wide. It is a very important topic that we need to really understand very well before we attach stereotypes to those words. Okay, so in my journey as an educator and even as an individual in this life, I found that there are people, there are students, there are teachers, there are parents, there are colleagues, they're just human beings, neighbors, friends, that they just enjoy being alone. And it doesn't mean that they are mean people, they are proud people, or anything. That is just them. That is just who they are. That is how they function in this world. Amid the busyness, and let me give you a little bit of music in the background. Amidst the business of everyday life, they just enjoy being on their own. And well, I think it's important to even learn to be on your own, because in this world, I was still talking to a friend yesterday, and she was like, man, in this our busy world, we really need time to just detox and be alone, be on our own, to be able to make sense of what's happening in our personal lives. um for me, it's not an issue to have somebody want to be on their own. Personally, I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, if that's the only thing and there are no underlying issues, someone wanting to be spend time alone should not be an issue. But then it's in our education system, it's so worrisome, because our system seems to reward the extroverts, the typical extrovert that likes to maybe be in debate society, literary and debating society, the ideal, that person, quote and unquote ideal person, that likes to, that the star student that is vivid in speech, that makes friends easily, you understand. And there's a way our culture has shifted from culture of character. People are not like, before, being kind was the cool thing, you understand. Now it just seems like being kind is not even looked at. What is seen as cool is when you're pushing all, you're in everybody's faces. Let me just put it like that. You're in everybody's faces. Their culture has shifted from that of the culture of character to a culture of personality. All this so charismatism. I think this old church charismatic movement also grew from this, like 100 years ago thereabout. And the whole thing of at work, you have to, you have to fight for yourself. You understand those kind of things. There's a way our society just makes it seem that extroversion is the real thing. And there are really different types of introversion. When people say introvert, I'm like the way Dr. Susan Cain was saying it in the book. The subject of introversion, it is very deep. It's deeper than just saying I'm an introvert. And there can be introvert, extrovert. There can be, there are just like four quadrants of introversion, right? That you can fall on different parts of the quadrant, and it will really impact the way, like affect the way, or you interpret the world, you relate with the world. You understand what I'm saying? There's a wide debate among psychologists regarding who an introvert is, but at least everybody is really agreeing that the degree of external stimulation and interaction introverts and extroverts need in order to function is like different, like way, 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 way different. You understand? So I've been talking about part one of the book, and the title is The Extrovert Ideal. According to Dr. Susan Cain, the author, she says that sometimes collaboration kills creativity. And let me really explain this to us, because a lot of people that have been at home, they'll be like, oh my god, what's wrong with me? Is it that I don't like talk to people? Is it that I'm less better than this person? Or what are even the benefits of being an introvert? For one, we will know that introverts are usually deep thinkers. Usually they listen well, like they are very good listeners. And then, okay, so I was talking about how collaboration kills creativity. Our culture has shifted towards groupthink, and we seem to ignore the power of working alone. It seems like, even like, it seems okay. Let me give a story that she was talking about. She was talking about Steven Wozniak. Steven Wozniak is one of the co-founders of Apple. So there's a story of how he went to Menlo Park, like it was like a shared working area for a meetup, and then that really sparked creativity inside of him, and he went on ahead to work on his next project. But the profound thing about that story that I found it very profound, and Dr. Susan Cain also like insisted on that part, is that what happened afterwards, that he did not gather a group of friends to try to do that project and everything. What Stephen Wozniak did was that he went quiet and solo, and he went about his work, and he describes those period of, like, he says here in the book that he would actually work all day, go back home, make dinner, then actually come back to his office. You understand? He come back to his office to continue working till like early in the morning, and he goes back home. And for him, he's like, during all of those those times he can describe it as one of his like high points in his life, and he's not busy doing anything like profound out, like he's not on the outward, he's not seeming to do anything, he's quiet and enjoying his space and doing things that he likes. In fact, he writes something in his memo. In his memo, he offers advice to kids that aspire to be great creatives. And he writes this. Let me actually read it out. He says that most inventors and engineers I have met are like me. They are shy and they live in their heads. They are almost like artists. In fact, the very best of them are artists. An artist work best alone, where they can control an invention's design without a lot of other people designing it for marketing or some other committee. I don't believe anything really revolutionary has been invented by committee. If you are that rare engineer who is an inventor and also an artist, I'm going to give you some advice that may be hard to take. That advice is work alone. You are going to be best able to design revolutionary products and features if you are working on your own, not on a committee, not on a team. This, as in what he, I hope like we really heard that and we can reflect on what he has said, because these words are really profound. Then let me also read something about Jason Fried. Jason Fried is the co-founder of 33 Signals. 33 Signals is a web application company. Okay, so he wrote something. He said, let me read this paragraph out. He says, the people Fried interviewed were saying out loud that creatives are what creatives have always known. Kafla, for example, wouldn't bear to be near his adoring fiancée while he walked. Then he wrote this, please listen. You once said that you would like to sit beside me while I write. Listen, in that case, I could not write at all. For writing means revealing oneself to excess, that utmost of self-revelation and surrender in which a human being, when involved with others, would feel he was losing himself, and from which, therefore, he will always shrink as long as he is in his right mind. That is why one can never be alone enough when one writes. Why there can never be enough silence around one when one writes. Why even night is not even night enough. So I think what he's basically trying to say is that when you're a creative, when you're writing, you really need that time. Like you can't say that somebody is beside you and you're still doing work and everything. You need, as human beings, we need that level of solitude, because for me I realized that when as much as I like to meet people, I like to talk and everything, I like to relate to people, there's also a part of me that I like my privacy. I like to stay alone. I don't want to see anybody. I want to probably face a wall and I can stay there throughout the day, and there's nothing wrong with me. I'm very happy. In fact, if you ask me about how my week was, I'll particularly point to that day that I was able to stay on my own and say this was like my best day of the week. I had time to stay alone. I just enjoyed being in my head. I enjoyed it. I know that we're trying to teach kids to work, to collaborate, because that's how. Sorry, excuse me. Let me get some water. Thank you. Okay, so um, drink water too. It's good for you. Okay, so I know we are trying to teach kids how to collaborate. We are putting them together and all of that. And it's also important that Dr. Susan King was saying that it is very important to teach kids how to be alone, how to be quiet. In our culture, when some people don't even like themselves to be by themselves. It's very important to spend time on your own. Just be by yourself. Very, very important. So this moment of being alone, staying alone, being quiet, having decorum around you, very, very important. I know some people that are married with kids that husband takes one night. I mean, faithful couple, not like you take one night and you go off the radar. All the husband takes like maybe a Saturday once in a month, and maybe leaves the house on Friday evening or Saturday morning, and just go Saturday morning and just goes to lodge in a hotel and sleeps, read, prays, does everything he wants to do, just has time to strategize, and he comes back to the house maybe later in the evening that day, or they meet or very early on Saturday, Sunday morning, or they meet in church and the following week or at another time the wife does the same. Even musicians, I know that people, I've heard stories of musicians, even Mama Tope Alabi, Evangelist Tope Alabi, that she actually goes to hotels, sits down to write her songs. That introversion, that moment, those moments of quiet, and we can't take it away. Those moments are very, 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 very important. Please, it's something we should learn how to do when we actually keep quiet and spend some time alone. Quietness, decorum, it helps us. And please, can I say this in organizations? I know I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of people that I have spoken with in a long time. I mean, for a long period of time, listening to people's viewpoints. I know that we are trying to manage space in organizations, or maybe not, don't let me say manage space. I know that some people, there maybe in some organizations they want to write in company brief that we are a co-creation space. We're a co-creation space. I don't know how that sounded, but you get what I mean. We work in pairs. Our office is a large space. There's light everywhere. But you know what? There are people in your organizations that they don't function well in those kind of places. I, for one, don't let me say anything, but really I would prefer a place where I have my personal office, the light is in so much and all of that, and I can do so much work. I cannot come out during my break, play with everybody and go back into my shell. I get work done that way, and I know that a lot of people that get work, their work done that way, because someone told me once, I said I don't work in my office, I actually go home to work. When I go to the office, it's just socialization. It's just cruise. There's too much noise and distraction, and then work done is zero at the end of the day. You grab what I'm trying to say. So these are things that we really need to pay attention to and focus on in our work, in our offices and all of that, because everybody should not cannot be the same. Like, we have to provide, even if it's just to provide cubicles to let people go and sit, or a place where people can receive their calls, just quiet places around the office that people can, you understand, get work done. All of those old paparazzi of everybody's working together, he works in his way. I mean, if you have listened to our book review of Joy, How We Created a Workspace That People Love by Richard Sheridan, I think that you would understand where this comes from. But there's also a space, there's a place to allow people be who they are and function in the places they find really suited. You understand the balance now? Okay, thanks for listening up to this point. Let's go on a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to talk about part 2 of the book. The blood pop. Okay, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. I know that at this point, some people may be thinking, I'm an introvert. Is that the end of the world for me? Is there hope for me as an introvert? Will my life have to continue like this forever and ever? Amen. Well, no. And yes. Okay, there's Dr. Susan Cain was saying something here and asking the question, is your temperament your destiny? Me sef, I'm wondering on your behalf that once I'm born and I'm in a certain way, do I have to remain like that for the rest of my life? In fact, that's a question that's always popped in my head, really. Can I be an introvert and still be another thing? You grab. Scientists and even researchers have been asking these questions as well, and they've been probing the human brain in an attempt to discover the biological origins of human temperament, really. And then data has proven that our brain, and the result of their research is that data has proven that our brain's chemistry impacts our character. And then hereditary is also a factor, because more than brain chemistry, there are genes that we inherit from our grandparents and all of those people, our parents, our uncles, our aunties, our siblings, and people in our bloodline, you understand? And of course, beyond even genes, there's learned behavior. So some things aren't that they are just in our genes, it's just learned behavior that has been learned because of the people we grew up around, the old nature and nurture principle you grab. So yes, our biology has something to do with our temperament. And then beyond our temperament, really, introversion is not a death sentence. It is not a death sentence, because there's a place of there's a place of and there's a place for free will. We are human beings, and then we have the capacity to adjust to situations. I know that some situations require an extroverted us. Maybe we need to negotiate a business deal, we need to do presentations and all of that. We need to maybe come out of our shells, and that is not something easy to do for everybody. And now, right now, we're just going to run you through a few tips for public speaking for introverts. All right, let's quickly run that through. Number one, understand the goal at hand. One of the things I've seen about introversion, the introverted side of me too, is that maybe I need to make a call. I'm going to so overthink that thing, or I made a mistake, or I feel like I have hurt somebody. I'm still going to brood over that thing for so long, and sometimes it's so damaging. So one of the things I've learned, and I'm still learning, is that I should understand what the problem is. Okay, right now, Tosin, what is the problem? Okay, for example, what's the problem at hand? You need to do a presentation, or you think you bought somebody's food, you shouldn't have done that, or you mistook something for a document for the other. Understand the goal at hand so that you are not overthinking and you can prepare. So if it is that you need to prepare for a presentation, for example. Oh yeah, ASAP, this is what is to be done, what is required of me, so you can move towards your goal ASAP. Like, and then you will have little, like, less problems with that. But if you overscale your problems, that is even a problem in itself, you understand. Then secondly is that know your sweet spot and work around it. Know your sweet spot and work around it. Some people, their sweet spot is asking questions, and even if they are doing a presentation, they can apply that sweet spot. You understand? Because introverted people, you are really sitting down, you are calm, you're really looking at different sides of the deal. So even if you are negotiating, you can just sit down while everybody is doing their bragados, and then the up and down, everybody is showing their oratory skills. When it's time, you can actually ask those people questions. What do you think about this, about that? I mean, everybody in the room will see that you're a very quiet and calm person, and then people can learn from you. Oh, this person isn't talking much, but anytime the person talks, the person is spitting fire, the person is making a lot of sense. So know your sweet spot and work at it. One of some people's sweet spot is that they are good storytellers. Like, they can just present something to you in a very nice way, and you will sell buy that idea. If it's a presentation, turn it to a story. You have an assignment in school as a student, turn it to a story. It's the same presentation, but you're saying it's a story form, and since it's your sweet spot, you're going to thrive in it. Some people's sweet spots, because they are introverts, they read a lot, you understand. So, and they read a lot, they have very broad mindset, so they are very good at technical writing. Bring up any topic, they are going to write for you, they are going to create good content for you. So know what your sweet spot is. Either you like to talk, or do you like deep conversations. Okay, so let me say this part of me. While I was growing up, I knew that when I was younger, rather, I'm still growing. While I was younger, I knew that as a woman, I don't know how to do makeup. I mean, that's something I'm not so proud of, but it is just what it is. I don't know how to sit down and do all of those arc brows and everything. I don't know how to do that. I mean, left to me, I just want to get dressed under 30 minutes, like have my bath, and then leave my house. I'm not so interested in the old powder thingy, and I know that. But I knew one thing. So one time I told my daddy about it, that daddy, why is that all the girls are like that? Me, I'm so different. I don't seem to be interested in that. I've tried. I just look like a masquerade. I don't even feel comfortable when I do too much makeup and everything. And my dad was like, but what can you do well? I told my dad that there's nothing, like, bring that topic. I can talk about it. I can actually talk. I can sit with somebody, and after talking with the person, the person will feel like they've known me for 100 years. The person will feel listened to, and I can have deep conversations. I can sit around adults and have very meaningful, even elderly people, have very meaningful conversations with them and enjoy it. Like, my dad was like, this is how you can, but this is what you know how to do. Then do it well. Don't so I discovered that what a lot of men like it, or what a lot of my male friends liked about me when we first met, and even till date, even my female friends, is the fact that we can just maybe come on the phone and I just saw one of them miss calls now. Oh, we can just sit down and really talk about deep stuff, just interact on a deep level. The person feels heard, and for me, that's one of my sweet spots. I mean, if that is what you want to do, deep conversations, oh, bring it on. I'm going to enjoy doing that. That's one of my sweet spots. So know your sweet spot and work around that thing. Know that your sweet spot, that thing that you feel comfortable doing, and then bring that challenge in the context of that thing and work through it. You really enjoy it. Then find your type and then distress. When you are with your people, and all these people that they are saying that they are introverts, or all we people that are saying that we're introverts, or anybody that says they're introverts, trust me, there are still people in their life that feel that that person is a talkative once they feel comfortable around the person. So know your type, you understand? Then know how to stress. Maybe after doing things that you don't like to do on the norm, just go back into your shell is allowed. Go around your people where you feel comfortable and all of that. So if you have any tips that came to your mind for public speaking for introverts, please put in the comments. We would like to hear your thoughts on this. You are fine as an introvert. There's nothing wrong with you. People say that you are not cool. What is cool? Who is defining cool? Your own, as you are like that, you are cool, and we like you like that. You understand me? Let's go on a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to talk about a very important part. It is called soft power. Let's go. We'll be right back. The blonde pop. Okay, guys, welcome back. This is part 3. It talks about, do all cultures have an extroverted ideal? Is it that in all cultures of the world we have an extroverted ideal? Well, there's something called soft power, and Asian American and the extrovert ideal. Mahatma Gandhi says that in a gentle way you can shake the world. In a gentle way, you are gentle, you are not losing touch of your gentility, but in the midst of your gentleness you can actually shake the world. Okay, let me talk a bit about Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was the one that started the movement. Like, she was sitting on a bus. Can you remember that American history thing, Black American history, that she was sitting in a bus and a white person told her to stand up and she refused to stand up? Meanwhile, back in the days, it was ideal that a black person cannot be sitting in the bus while a white person is standing up, you understand? And usually they will even chase them to the black people to the back or so. So she refused to stand up, and from there I think she was arrested and beaten, and then she was arrested, and then what she did was really courageous in her time, and that was how Martin Luther King invited her to the church, and then there was a crusade, like people were talking, and that was when the I Have a Dream speech happened, and then she came on stage, and she wasn't even doing the talking herself. She just was very quiet, soft and free woman. And then she that was her. She said she wasn't going to stand up on the bus, and that was how she sparked that movement. And she died in 2005, as much as I can remember. And then she had an autobiography. She had written a book before she died. The name of her book is Quiet Strength. What an oxymoron, like two different juxtaposing things beside each other. Quiet strength. There are people that seem really seemingly frail and soft, but they can shake the world, like the way Mahatma Gandhi said. Like, there are people that you will not see them say anything, you will not see them shout or anything, but really they are moving the world. I know that I'm not a loud talker, as much as I like to talk in professional context and share like this and all of that. I'm not a loud talker. I'm not a naturally over talky person. When it's necessary I talk, when it's not I prefer to keep quiet. And then I remember, like, something happened, like few months back. Something happened that, because, like, a particular person had seen me as a very quiet person, and she felt that she could ride me. The person felt that, oh, it was easy to ride me or maybe stand on my head, you understand, that kind of thing, and just bully me. I remember that I didn't say too much. I just told the person that you are rude. What you are doing is very, very rude. And in fact, like, I did not say much that day, but I know that my voice shook that building that day. See, you don't have to see. You don't. Let me say it in Yoruba. Gra gra is not gra gra. Sometimes you just need to be quiet and just do soft power. That is quiet resistance, quiet strength. in your quietness, you can shake the world. You don't have to shake the world the conventional way everybody shaking the world, like we're talking about cool the other time. It doesn't have to be like that, you understand me? You can shake the world. It is funny how, remember, sorry, let me just keep this in that. Remember that we are talking about the book Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Dr. Susan Cain. And this is Plant Path Podcast. Remember to share this with people in your network, people that are introverts that are trying to really understand themselves, or people that got kids that are introverts, spouses, people that they can't even just seem to understand. Please share this with them and let them listen. Remember to listen to the other episodes too. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're talking about part three, soft power. That is a quiet resistance. It's funny how. So the question now is that, do all cultures have an extrovert ideal? Excuse me, I know that one of the most introverted nations in the world is Finland, and Finland are so introverted that how do you that there's a joke in Finland that says that how do you tell that a Finnish person, like a Finn like you, a Finnish person will never look at you straight in the face. They'll look at your shoes instead of their shoes. That's when you know that this person likes me. They are so introverted in Finland, and you can see the amount of excellence, educational excellence that they possess in that community, in that country. So introverted nations, introverted people, they are very amazing people. Trust me. And it's not in all cultures that you understand that there's an extrovert ideal. Like for example, what tall is in America may not be the definition of what tall is in Japan. You understand? They are slightly different. What fat is in Africa, like quote and unquote. But if you feel that you, so what a Nigerian will see as fat may not be what an American will see as fat, or may not be what a Japan or a Chinese person will see as fat. So sometimes our culture also kind of influences our, like, let me say, impacts the way we look at extroversion. You understand me? Okay, so for instance, in classes, like in American classrooms, in Western culture is so big on class participation, and then in Western culture, you see that a lot of people, like a whole lot of people, place so much importance on what they call it, on a lot of people place a lot of importance on class participation, that in fact people is part of your students graded score. Meanwhile, in a place like Asia, or you are supposed to see others as, esteem others as being better than you, so you are not supposed to even talk too much. If you talk too much, it's like you're talking beautiful nonsense, quote and unquote. You don't have to talk too much, understand? And in fact, with all the extroversion that we have in the West, the Asians will still beat Westerners when it comes to math competition, abacus competitions, and some other things, you understand? So I'm not saying all Westerners are extroverted and all Asians are introverted, you understand? But I just wanted to, like Dr. Susan Cain was just trying to tell us that our culture can impact what we see as extroversion and introversion, and you should feel cool with wherever you are on the spectrum of being extrovert or introvert, you understand? And at this point in time, you may be wondering and be asking yourself that, if I'm an introvert, how do I cope at work? How am I supposed to cope at work? How do I cope in romantic relationship? That's part 4. As William James puts it, he says that a man has many social selves, and as there are different distinct groups of persons about whose opinion he cares, he generally shows a different side of himself to each of these different groups. So basically saying that we are multifaceted human beings, and we have different there are different types sides to us, and we show those different sides to different people as it is necessary. You grab. So it is called situationism. That is like responding to the situation, based on the situation, you act based on the situation, responding according to what the need is. So a lot of introverts, as I said before, they will socialize where they feel comfortable. You understand? So, like we said, find your sweet spot, find people that are around you that you need. At work, just try to gauge the level of extroversion that is needed and acceptable, and just find a sweet spot what you can do. Oh, I'm going to dedicate my break time talking to people, I'm going to take a walk during my break, why it doesn't disturb your work. And in your relationships, like, if you have someone that is extroverted as a partner, or you intend to have someone like that, you may need to start going into their world and accepting them for who they are. Really, the fact that someone person does not want to hang out while the other person is hanging out doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the person. That's just who the person is. Here and there, compromises here and there, but then we shouldn't try to change the core essence of people. I think I said the other time I said something for HR people. Please, we beg you, consider everybody. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so excited about this book review. I mean, I can go on and on talking about this. So many applications in life. Um, at this point, let's talk about how to raise quiet kids. In a world that no one sees them, in a world that extroversion seems to be the ideal, how to raise quiet children. Number one is to embrace their way of being. There's no need to try to treat these people, take them to psychologists and make them feel like there's something wrong with them. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to enjoy yourself, like just flow in your own person. Let that child know that you know what, this is who you are and there's nothing wrong with you. I was talking to my mom maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, and she was talking about one of my siblings, and was like, so person, I'm not going to mention the person's name. So person is so much like so person. Was referring to a family member, an older family member, and she was just smiling and like, why you so much like this person? And she just laughed about it. If it's some parents and we start saying don't do like this, behave like this person, I mean that's what the core essence of who that person is, and there's really nothing they can do that will change that person. You grab. So please let people be. Let them be. Let them be. Let me tell you, one of my best friendships with people, I've discovered is with introverts. They don't seem to be talking, but by the time you're able to engage them, they have so much wisdom to share. Then number two is that be determined to introduce your child to every potentially pleasurable opportunity in life. Be determined to introduce your child to every potentially pleasurable opportunity in life. Okay, if your child does not seem to be enjoying the conventional things children enjoy, take them to ocean, to beach, take them to climbing trees. If your child doesn't seem to be liking to go out to maybe on play dates, let them enjoy staying at home, maybe trying out new food, maybe exercises, let them just swimming, you understand? Let them just try out a lot of things. In between, they will find something they are comfortable with and it will help them. And in fact, okay, so I remember watching a documentary maybe like a month or two ago. It's on Netflix, so you can watch it too. It's called Speed Cubers. It's about really about a child with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and the child was introduced to Rubik Cube, and it sparked interest in him, and from there he became a world champion. And really, your child, the goal is not really to become a world champion. The the goal is just to help your child, you understand, find something that child loves doing, even aside the conventional education and schooling. You may have to even adjust your child's education goals and all of that, your child's extra curriculum to fit what that child loves to do. Okay, so the point, as I was saying, the point is not to become a world champion at what your child is doing. In between, your child will learn social skills, your child will learn negotiating skills, your child will learn how to deal with failure, because even that world champion guy, there was a time he failed, like he lost his world championship, and the parents were really afraid that how is this guy going to cope with this, because he had really never failed before. And then he was able to surmount that. So they are just lessons for that child to learn. I remember that I spoke with a parent one time. I was teaching in a school, and the father was like, I want my child to, do what you call it, teach catechism class. I want my child to do this, do that. And I just told the child, I remember telling the father about this book. You know what? There's really nothing wrong with your child. The child is striving where she is. The child is doing well in this area. If you want her to get more interested in something, you can subtly ask her, introduce her to you, let her warm up to those things, and she will do well. That girl is doing really fine. And I remember the father telling me one time, maybe a few months after that, was like, thank you very much. That was like what I needed to learn. The brother is so extroverted. In fact, by the time the brother got into GS1, became so popular. Meanwhile, the sister is popular for something else. I mean, being a brainy, you understand, academic champion and doing extracurricular she enjoys. But the brother is everywhere. Soccer, wants to play basketball. and I just told the parents, just let these kids be. Let them thrive in their areas. And I'm so glad I did. I did that. I'm so glad. I mean, that was a very impactful time I had with a child and a couple of other things in between that happened as a result of reading this book years ago. I'm happy to have shared this with you. If you have any questions, please write in the comments. We'll get to you. We'll respond to you ASAP as soon as possible. If you like to talk more about this, you have a child that you're struggling to understand, please gladly just bring that child for a counseling session, a consultation with us. We'll be really glad to attend to it, to that situation, and help you understand. Sometimes it's really about your mindset as a parent. There's nothing wrong with your child. Thirdly, I would like to also say that you have a learning space, a training center, you have a school, you want to develop, you want to work on your next set of goals as this new session is resuming, you want to work on things to, help you, beef up your learning spaces, help you grow, grow as a learning space, as a school. Please reach out to us. We'll be glad to consult with you. You have any training, schools are on break now, you want to train your teachers, there's something new you would like to teach them, you want to talk about a topical issue in education, or a team of consultants will be really, really, really glad to attend to you on this, on your training needs, on your consultation needs, on your counseling needs. Remember to always listen to podcast. There's such a lot we would like to discuss with you. If you want us to talk about any topic, let's know in the comments. And also, you can send us a mail at planpartc@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow, 41 minutes. So glad to record this episode with you. Have a good holiday. Have a good week. Have a good year. Bless you. Bye. Yeah.
The Blonde Pop.